could blame it on your lips, your touch, your kiss, you know, real traditional. But your love's too original. You were anything but original. Baby, did you know that from the moment we fell?
What's up, you guys? I am back with a new video. It's your favorite Michaela, and today this part of the video, part two of labor and delivery story time, or whatever you want to say. I'm not sure how I'm gonna title it, but yeah, this go into Mikhail treatment. When I first seen Mikhail, I guess I had like this big picture in my mind that was not real. I looked at it like I had this mindset where, okay, if she can take her baby home, I can take my baby home. Like, and not in his condition, but I was like, ain't no way I'm gonna leave the hospital without my baby. That's the mindset that I had. So basically, I was in a lot of disbelief, I guess. But when I first see him, I really wanted to cry. Like, it brought a lot of tears to my eyes. I was very weak. I couldn't really walk. But, yeah, I was very weak and I couldn't really walk. That's what I can tell you. I was very emotional, and I'm the type, I don't like for nobody to see me cry. But I really wanted to cry, but I hold back. Everybody, this is in shock the way I'm seeing my baby. Never seen nothing like that, but this is in shock the way I'm seeing my baby. And everybody was like, touch him, touch him, touch him. Maybe he'll pull through if you touch him. Go ahead and touch him. Go on. Like, everybody's forcing me to do this, not realizing this is, you know, kind of hard for me. But hey, Mikhail, come back. So I finally touched him, and I put my hand, well, I put my finger in his hand or whatever, and he squeezed it, and then he let go. He squeezed it, and then he let go. And then this was like a good moment for me, kind of, because it's just like everybody was like, oh, he squeezed your hand, he squeezed your hand. Nobody believed that. Well, I don't know, I'm not gonna say nobody believed that he squeezed my hand, but he wouldn't squeeze nobody else's hand, but he squeezed my hand, and that made me so happy. Like, I don't know why, but it was just amazing. He squeezed, not my hand, my finger. He squeezed my finger, and I'm like, y'all, he's squeezing my finger. Look, look, look. So they was like, let me get a picture. They got a picture or whatever, and yo, and then so I can't remember who was trying to get my, I don't know, was it my mama, my aunt, both of them? I don't know who it was, but it was like, he ain't squeezing my finger, and they was like, he know your mama. He know your mama. You got to stay here. Yeah, I can't remember exactly who told me what, but I remember they was like, he know his mama. He know his mama. He know you, or whatever. So yeah, later on that night, I'm still like in disbelief. Like, I'm just looking like, okay, I'm gonna take my baby home regardless. I'm not leaving this hospital without my baby. That's the mindset that I had, and that was a mindset that I had. So that was a mindset I still had at that time. Like, I was sad and upset, and I didn't want to see my baby like that because it brought a lot of emotions to me, and I didn't want nobody to know that I was emotional. So yeah, later on that night, I went ahead and went back down there. And I went back down there because my cousin, she had texted me. She was like, you need anything, da, 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 blah, blah, blah. And she brought me stuff. She pregnant. Y'all, my cousin was pregnant and everything at this time. And she came up there anyways. But she came up there to see me or whatever. And she was like, why you don't want to go down there? And I don't think I told her, but I was like, maybe I was nervous. I don't know. I probably did tell her. I'm not sure. But yo, so we went down there. She was like, well, I want to see him. I said, okay, cool. So I took her down there, and then when I went down there, it was a very emotional time. Like, everybody was crying, I believe. I'm not really sure, but or either that time, no, they was talking about transferring him. It just hit me. They was talking about transferring him to another hospital because it was nothing else for them to do here. So yeah, the doctor called the doctor from the other hospital. The hospital finally hit them back. It was between two hospitals. Arkansas, I believe it was Arkansas and New Orleans. there was the 2 children hospitals that was available. New Orleans one was full, so we would have had to go to Arkansas. And when they was talking about that or whatever, you know, I was just like, can I hold him? And I asked, can I hold him? Like, you know, I didn't think nothing of it because, like I said, I was still going through my mind. Like, it really just didn't hit me. My baby wasn't doing well. And I was like, can I hold him? And she was like, well, the doctor was like, well, you can hold him and see how he do or whatever. And I think also on that call, when the doctor called, I remember hearing the doctor on the other phone was like, let them know baby will die en route. The baby will die en route. So, yeah, that was something that was scaring me. And I think that would trigger me like, can I hold him? So, so I asked, can I hold him? And the doctor, my baby doctor, she turned around and she was like, well, you can see how he do. You can see how he do. You know, me, it's not clicking me that she was trying to get me to unplug my baby on the sleep because he was on the ventilator. It didn't hit me. Everybody else catched on, but I didn't. I said, no. I said, no, if that's going to hurt my baby, I don't want that. So the crew ended up coming in that later that night, I believe. I'm not sure when they came in, but they finally got down there, and I was in a lot of pain. And I also didn't want to see my baby like that. And my mama, she was putting a lot of pressure on me, like, you know, come down here. You should be down here with your baby. Like, your baby's trying to get moved out to another hospital. And I'm just like, you know, this a lot for me. Like, it wasn't really clicking me, but nobody really understood that. But yeah, so Mikael, come back this way. So anyways, the crew finally got there, and my baby numbers started doing good enough. They started doing good enough to transport him. They moved him over to the transfer bed, and he bottomed back out. Then they moved him back over to the other bed. And what I mean by bottom out, he basically died. He wasn't doing nothing on his own. So, put him back over in the NICU bed. His number, they waited until his number went up. Then they put him back over. Numbers went right back down. It was just a consistent thing. They kept trying. And then they finally came to the conclusion, we're not going to take him. And me personally, I didn't want to speak up and say it, but in my mind, I didn't want to speak up and say it, but in my mind, I did not want my baby to leave me. I did not want him to leave me. And I guess Mikael felt the same way. Like, y'all, I'm not even gonna cap. Like, I guess Mikael felt the same way. No shade. So, after they realized they couldn't do nothing, they came to the conclusion. They was like, so what do you want to do? Basically, like, do I want to keep my baby alive with the ventilator, or unplug him and let him go peacefully? And they said, it's your decision. I said, no, I want to keep him plugged up. And everybody else was saying the same thing. And they was like, okay, well, they came to the conclusion. I don't know, during this time was the doctor or the nurse talking to me. But they came to the conclusion. She was like, okay, we have nothing at this hospital. What he needs is at the other hospital. And plus, why would I, you know, and also what I do want to say is, like, I get, you know, the hospital part could have helped him, the other hospital, but at the same time, why would I, Mikael, get out that grass. 1, 2. So, anyways, and also, let me say this, I didn't want him to go to the other hospital because how I just heard that my baby might die en route to the hospital. Why would I want him to leave me? That's also how I was thinking. That's another reason why I didn't want him to go. And I also didn't want him to be that far apart from me. And basically the nurse was telling me, hey, It's nothing else that we can do, but we can still give him medication and stuff and hope for a miracle. Like, they literally say that. They was like, and hope for a miracle. On my mama behalf, I was, like I said, I kind of didn't want to see him like that and all this other stuff. So my mama behalf, she was like, a lady came in and prayed for my son. She said she called my pastor wife and she prayed over Mikhail. And then, yeah, that was that. That was just like hope for a miracle. So, and the lady that prayed for him had like a dot on her head. I don't know what that mean, but she had like a dot on her head. That's what I can't tell you. And I kept seeing her. And he ended up going home. All the prayers and stuff. So, the next day, I had to go home. And this part of the video goes into my postpone and what I was dealing with. I had to go home. I decided that I wanted to go to my papa's house because my papa stayed in well, it's not close, but it's close. Like, it's two cities connected together, basically, like a bridge separate the cities. But how far down we was, it would have been, you know, the same distance from if I would have went to my house. Like I said in the last video, I was 45 minutes from that hospital. I was an hour from the hospital Mikhail was at. Mikhail, back this way. I was hospital an hour away. So I was like, okay, I feel safer at my papa house. Like, I just feel safe over there because it's just a bridge connect them. We gotta cross the bridge and go even further now. But it was about the same distance. So I went to my papa house and stayed. And that night I finally went to sleep. I was kind of struggling, and my mama said I was talking in my sleep, all type of stuff. I did not want to leave the hospital for my baby. Like, they hurted me tremendously. And I went to my papa's house. I was sleeping. My Amy, she had COVID. She was in the hospital for COVID, and during that time she had been in the hospital for a month. And she had COVID. I was asleep. My cousin went blowing up my phone. Was she blowing up my phone? I don't even know. Was she blowing up my phone? I don't know. All I know is she called me, and that's what woke me up. And when she called me, it was in the middle of the night. It was by like 12 o'clock. She called me. She was like, you know, I ain't passed or whatever. She said my ain't. She was like, she passed. She's dead. And I was like, what? I said, that's not true. That's not true. And she said, yes, it is. And I can't remember how I said, oh my God, like, it hit me instantly. Like, I wasn't, like, I was sad, but I was holding in. And the first thing that hit me was my dad. I hung up the phone with her. I said, let me call my dad and check on him. Called my dad. He didn't answer. Then, so after my dad didn't answer, I went to crying. Like, I had went to crying right out the bed. And anyways, sorry. I had went to crying right out the bed. And my mama heard me crying, and my mom got up. She was like, what's wrong? I said, Engineer died. They said she died. And I was like, do dad know? Or whatever. You know, I sat there and cried with her. And I don't know what happened after that. But yeah, that was that. Now I'm finna go into now it wasn't too much about that, but now I'm finna go into, at that time I was dealing with the death of my auntie and my baby being in the hospital. Now I'm finna go into the treatments. Okay, so I went back and forth up to the hospital literally every day. Mikhail was doing about the same. Oh, also that night, the call after all that happened with my auntie and stuff, I had called and nobody was. This how I knew wasn't nobody supposed to tell me, because my cousin had called me, and this was her mama. She called me, and she was talking like I wasn't supposed to know, but I knew. Or she just didn't want to think about it herself. I don't know. But it just seemed like the way everybody was talking about it, I wasn't supposed to know that my auntie died. Like, I wasn't supposed to know. It was like everybody was being around the bush. everybody was being around the bush, but I already knew. And I called the hospital that night, and they was like about 10 o'clock. And this when my auntie died. My auntie died around 10, they say. About 10 o'clock, they was like, he opened his eyes, he looked at me, he smiled or whatever, or something. No, they ain't say he smiled because he had a tube in his mouth. He couldn't smile. They must say something. They was like, he opened his eyes, looked around for a little minute or whatever. You know, he looked around. And that was during the time my auntie had died. So I kind of like, right there, I kind of feel like my auntie spoke to my baby before she left. My auntie, she was fighting for her life, and she finally gave it up. And I guess she told my son that it's time for you to fight. This is your life. You can live it or whatever. I kind of feel like she stopped and spoke to my baby. I kind of feel like she stopped and spoke to my baby during this time, because I didn't find out that she actually died until after like the funeral around 10. I was thinking that she died September the 2nd, but September the 3rd, but she actually died September the 2nd around 10. Mama. So yeah. And Mikhail probably ready to go in the house, but I don't have nobody to watch him, so I'm finna hurry up with this video. But yeah, so boom, we was going to the hospital each and every day. The poop magically started coming off his lungs. What I can say, before that even happened, every time they touched my baby, I mentioned this in this video, so I'm not gonna go too much into too many details, but I mentioned all that in this video. So yeah, that was that. He ended up having fluid. His head was enlarged, forehead and everything was enlarged because he had fluid on his brain. He was cross-sided because he had fluid on his brain. And the way they wanted to get rid of that, and the fluid had been on his brain for a little minute, because it started to cause him brain bleeds. Brain bleeds are very serious. It took him so long to wipe because brain bleeds are like a stroke in babies. That's why it was always like the leg dragging when he was crawling. That's why he always did stuff weird when he first started off doing it, until he got better at it. So yeah, that's a fun fact that y'all should know. Brain bleeds in babies are like strokes. So, and that's another reason why, if you ever look at Mikhail pictures, like he always holding like one arm up, but then it's kind of hard to say. Like mostly he hold his one arm up, and when he walk like that. Like it's like he moving, like it's like he walk with his arms. Here and there he do it. Sometimes he do it, sometimes he don't. So yeah, that's that. And Pittman hit his leg. That was another one, but he's actually walking back his legs now. So yeah, that was that. They came to the conclusion to give him a shunt, which is in his head now. Let me show y'all a picture. Let me show y'all. It's right here. Y'all probably cannot see it, but it is. It's on this side. You really can't see it, but I can feel it and I know where it's at. So yeah, he's getting sleepy. But yeah, they gave him a shunt to release the fluid off his brain. Ever since then, he have not had fluid on his brain. Ever since then, he have not had fluid on his brain. Ever since then, he haven't had fluid on his brain. He been doing fine. He haven't had no problem with it not draining or whatever the case may be. But with that shunt that's in his head, it's life's turn. The next surgery that he had was getting a G-tube placed, and this was after everything cleared up. They started doing all these surgeries, like when the poop magically came off his lungs and the blood started flowing in his body, right? That's when they started noticing all these things and doing treatments and stuff. The next surgery that he had after that was for the acid reflux, because he was throwing up the milk, and it was a mixed surgery. They put the G-tube in also. And they put the G-tube in because he wasn't eating enough food for them. They sent him home, and that was his only problem. He just was not drinking enough milk for them. So they placed a G-tube in, and he went. After that, he went home, and they set her up for physical therapy because that was 2 months of him being in the hospital. They set us up for physical therapy. He started going to physical therapy. I can't remember the exact days, but he started going to physical therapy, and they helped him well, and we ended up having to switch and stuff like that. He always had problems. We had to get a blood pressure doctor. We had to get a head doctor, all types of stuff. Like, he had a million doctors. So basically, that was really the outcome of that. As of right now, he's doing well. He's able to walk, crawl. He's talking way more. He's talking unexpectedly at the unexpectedly times. And yeah, that's pretty much it. He's doing well. He had a journey, but honestly, y'all, seeing my baby in the NICU, it's babies that been in the NICU for more than that with cases more serious than him. So I thought I went somewhere with like 2 months. He spent 80 days in the NICU. Like, yeah, you know, he's out. That's congratulations. But it's babies out here in the NICU for longer than that, and they have more scares than what my baby experienced. So that's what I do want to say is, like, you know, just because you did not experience a couple things don't mean, just because you experienced something don't mean nobody else went through and nobody understand what you went through. It's people out here that been through worse dealing with their child. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's really the story time. What I do want to say is I love you guys, and just to let you know, God is always gonna have you. If you don't believe in God, I don't know what to tell you. Look into it, I guess. I don't know, be different. But yeah, you guys, that's pretty much it. God is good. My baby's at home. He's doing everything. And I'm so proud that he's doing everything. Now my main goal is to get on my feet so my baby can experience even more. And nowadays you need money to even play football and stuff at his age. So, yeah. That's basically it for this third time. I love you guys. I hope y'all have a nice day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay tuned for the rest of my videos. And if you're new here, hey, my name is Michaela. And yeah, bye you guys.